What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Pysa Noel Show. I have one of my fun, favorite friends, Jess Caesar, with me today. We're gonna have fun today, but I'm really excited to have her. She's accomplished a lot. She's very successful, and she's also down to earth, and I just really admire her grind and her friendliness to everybody. So, of course, I have my own intro and bio, and she can fill in the blanks later, but here we go. Jessica, aka Jess Caesar, is an actress, model, writer, producer, and one of my best friends. As you can see, she is absolutely gorgeous, but not only on the outside, but also on the inside. But don't get fooled by her good looks and style. She is not one to act all bougie on you. She's so down to earth, friendly, family loving, outgoing, and most of all, hilarious. She created her own comedic web series called Meme Queens on Amazon, YouTube, and Apple TV. And hoo-ha-ha, how do you say that thing?
Hoo-ha-ha, like
I be wanting to say, yo, hoo-ha-ha.
Yeah, hoo-ha-ha. That's where they got it from.
Oh, okay. Hoo-ha-ha. I got it right this time. Feature her for being funny AF. Alongside Elizabeth Banks and Melissa McCarthy. Dang, that's some big names. But as far as hanging out with Jess, y'all, she be spilling all her tea with zero volume control and zero Fs. People can't help but stare and listen, and she's quite an entertaining one. Like, they be all up in it because she just tell all her business. She makes me seem quiet when I'm around her, and she brings out my Pysa smirk, which you may see. But without further ado, Jessica, aka Jess Caesar. Jess now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to
You don't gotta use the government name.
Woo, okay. So, is there anything you want to add to your intro? Just the intro part.
I think you nailed it.
Thank you.
No, but some of the stuff that you said that's not like what you could find on the internet, like the stuff about me, and it is all true. There's no filter when we're in public, and I'm just all loud and in conversation and
Everybody
stuff.
be like, ooh.
My voice travels. It runs in the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
right.
runs in the family. All of our voices are like that, loud
And speaking of family, tell me how it all began, where you were born and everything, and then how you got to LA and got into your talents and, dreams and stuff.
All right, so I'm from a city called Rockledge, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from Cocoa Beach. I was born there. I have 4 siblings. With my family, how I got into acting, I was in elementary school and I was very shy growing up. Mm-hmm. People out there probably won't believe me. They think I'm BSing, but I was very shy. I wouldn't talk. I would only talk at home with my family, and then even close friends, I don't think I really talked that much. So my teachers would always write on my report cards, "Oh, Jessica's so quiet. I wish she would talk. I wish she would talk more." But yeah, I was very shy growing up, and acting was how I came out of my shell. And even growing up, I was like, I imagine being on a sitcom or being an actress one day, but it wasn't until I was 14 years old where I'm like, you know what, I really want to be an actor. Okay. When I get older, I feel more confident when I'm acting because you could be whoever you want to be. It's fun. You're not being yourself, and that happened from an earlier age, and even till now too. I feel the same way. And
I just saw somebody else say that, so I'm like, okay, those be the ones to be shy at first.
Yeah. But I will never, if people are like, oh, at church, get up and do something or talk about the congregation, or even if it's get up and share this, I still won't do things like that. And people are like, I don't understand, you're an actor. It's different. It's
a little different.
Because
you're taking on a different character when you act or something?
I guess, I don't know. It's not like I feel like I'm being judged when I have to get up and share something personal or get up and talk in front of strangers that I don't know. It's just different when it's acting. Everyone's supportive. It's a crew. If you mess up, that's okay. When it comes to stuff like that, you got one take and that's it. You may say something that you shouldn't have said, and then hey, with social media and the internet, is there forever.
It is.
There's a difference to it. So I still to this day won't. When people are like, oh, can you do an announcement, or will you just say some words in front of people? And I'm just like, no.
That's interesting.
I can't do it. But everything else, I'm like, all day. But yeah,
that's so interesting.
That I still won't do it. So I guess that's still, that innate shyness is still there. But I was introverted growing up, but now I'm definitely way more extroverted.
Telling people all your business. Now let's dive into how you got here, what made you move, and where you are in your journey now. So.
All right, the meat, the potatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was 18 and 19, I moved from Rockledge, Florida, to Orlando. And I got into, I got a local agent, and Orlando's known more for commercials and promos, some fashion stuff. Miami's where all the high fashion modeling, the bigger modeling stuff is. And I would go to Miami, try to get an agent there, and they told me I was too commercial. They're like, you don't have the right look that's in this season, you're too commercial. And I was like, what does too commercial mean? What does too commercial mean?
Was your look the same as this look?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, this has to be a no.
I was like, yeah, I think I had extensions back then, and it wasn't like, I wanted Beyonce color hair because she was blonde, rocking the blonde extensions.
Oh, yeah,
but it was brown, and I had like straight extensions, and they just said that I was too commercial, and then I realized, I guess they meant I was too bubbly, too energetic. And
okay.
I got an agent in Orlando, a local agent, and I booked my very first audition, which was a commercial. I booked. And then my very second audition for a commercial, I booked. And I was starting to realize that I was making more money as an actor in commercials than doing a fashion show. I did do 2 fashion shows in Orlando, and some of the girls came from Miami, some of the models did. They were not very nice. It's very chaotic backstage. There's no time, and I was very modest. I don't want anyone seeing me naked. And you just
there ain't no
tits.
chance. Like, you ain't got time for that.
There was no time. I see titties and ass running like this and that, and get out of my way.
And you
like,
over here
I was like, wait, I'm trying to get shit. There's no time. Change the clothes. Like, it's chaotic. But we got paid $500, like $500 for all that, and they the people that are judging you in the modeling world, I don't think they even modeled a day in their life, but they pick at every little thing, like your body, your look, like this and that, and it just, when I thought about that, I was like, well, that was a blessing in disguise that I guess I was too commercial and had a personality, because I was making more money, and that was more of my way in. So I was doing local stuff in Orlando. I was trying to find a really good acting teacher, and I was doing a student film at Full Sail in Orlando, and this actor referred me to a lady named Yvonne Suhor. She did pass away this year. Rest in peace, Yvonne. But she had a studio called Artsake.
Okay.
And she was a really solid teacher. I studied with Yvonne for a year, and towards the end of the year, she's like, you guys either gotta go to LA or New York. And I was like, at that point, I was like, I'm ready. I was 20 years old, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna move to LA. And I always knew that's where I needed to be. Yvonne was saying that all the actors live in the Valley. And I was like, what's this valley? I was like, what's the Valley?
I like
so
Yvonne.
I was like,
she
was an actress. Yvonne was an actress. She was on The Young Riders on ABC. She was on that Star Trek show. I mean, she worked, and then she left LA, came back to Florida, and became a teacher. So this was an actress in LA, a working actress, solid actress, and then she came and gave back and started teaching actors.
And see, I always wanted those dance teachers that would be like, girl, you need to do this, or you really need technique first, and then do this. Change your look. You know, I love those like straight answers, and like how she was like, you need to go to LA or New York. Like,
and she was even in her acting, she was just like, you're doing too much, or she was very honest. You have those acting teachers,
old school ones,
you have those acting teachers that, I mean, hey, it's a business. They'll take your money and tell you you're great, but that doesn't help you. You know, like, you could go to all these auditions, like, why am I not booking? Or maybe if you're either delusional, or if you watch the camera back and you're just like, oh, I was like, that's terrible. Like, but if you have a teacher or a coach that really tells you, hey, that's not good, or hey, this just isn't your lane, or, you know, like, they critique you, not criticize you. So Yvonne was an honest teacher and gave us great advice. So I'm 20, and I was like, how am I going to break the news to my parents? Because my acting friends knew this plan was in motion for a year. I moved back in with my parents for 3 months to save money to move to LA, but they didn't know. They were like, oh, she got into an argument with their college roommate, and now she has to move back home. A story everyone hears. And I remember walking into my mom's bedroom, and I think she was even on the phone. And I walked in the room, and I was like, hey, Mom, just so you know, I'm flying to California in the beginning of January to see if I want to move to LA. And then I walked out the room, and she was like, well, wait a minute. She's like, back in here. She's like, so you're moving? She's like, you're moving to California? I was like, I possibly, but I want to make sure I know what I'm getting myself into beforehand. And I walked out. And my little sister was like, she was in 3rd grade at the time. She's like, Mom and Dad are going to let you move to California. And she told my parents, but they didn't believe her. They're just like, whatever. So then when I went to them, and they're like, oh, yeah, right. And when it was becoming more of a reality, before I even flew out here, they They didn't understand why. They thought I was going crazy. My dad was even considering sending me to a shrink, like, because it didn't make any sense why I'm just going to quit my full-time job with benefits to move to California with no family, no friends, no job, no place to live.
And what was your full-time job with benefits?
Oh, I was working for the state. It was a public online virtual school was what I was doing. But yeah, it was full time. It was great pay. It was a government job, so we always had holidays off, paid, like, and we got a bonus every year too.
And a lot of parents in that generation didn't really get it. You know.
And also, when I think about it now, yeah, I did it. It sounds crazy, but that's why you do things when you're young. Because you're fearless and you don't know any better, and you're gonna take risks. The older you get, the more practical and the more realistic you are, and you've lived life that you're gonna be too afraid to do anything. So at the time, yeah, it seemed crazy. I literally after I got on the plane, and my dad said that if I got on the plane, that he was gonna report me missing to the police to make me not go. But my brother, so they tried everything that they could. The shrink, they said they're gonna take me to a shrink. I was like, no. Then he's like, well, if you get on that plane, I'm gonna tell the cops you're missing. But you know where I am. Like, and even my brother had to drop me off to work because my flight was gonna leave that afternoon. And my brother dropped me off to work, and then my friend, who's still my friend to this day that I met at the job, she drove me to the airport. I remember we were stuck in traffic, and this is how God works things out. I was late to that flight because by the time I got off work and we had to sit in traffic, I got there late, but the flight was delayed anyways. So I remember getting to the counter, and that's what I was like. I missed the flight. I missed the flight, and I bought my ticket off Hotwire. So you know how those third-party sites, the third-party sites are like, you ain't get on the flight. Well, you out of a ticket. But it was American Airlines. I get up to the counter. I'm like, oh, I think I'm late. And then he's like, well, actually, you're in luck because the plane's delayed. So I was like, that's God. It was meant to be. So I fly out here. I was like, oh man, this is California. It's not what I've seen on TV. It's not Beverly Hills 90210. Like, it's not like, you know, the glitz and the glamour, but I'm like, this is where I need to be.
So as I've said on all of my shows, I pride myself for this show to be not like Instagram. And I'm saying that I don't want it to be like Instagram posts because people see highlights, and I've been very authentic in this show and really want to talk about some of the things that we don't see in this process of being out here. For example, you may work a lot as an actress or have some other things, but then you also, for the most part, you kind of need a backup job, you know, to kind of give you extra money to be able to do things. And then, you know, you want to always like stop what you're doing and be able to quit your job, but then reality hits and it's like, okay, well, maybe not yet. So have you had any struggles? Do you have a regular job that you do, or do you just book a lot?
Well, I wish I had it like that. No, I work part-time at the hospital. I'm a hospital operator. So I'm like the voice of the hospital.
I'm acting like I don't know, but I want you guys to know. Just so you learn.
So no, I'm the voice of the hospital, and I've been doing that for a long, long time, and I've been wanting to quit it for a long, long time. But the thing is with acting, it's you have your moments where you're really, really hot and you're working a lot, and then you have your moments where there's a slump, and it has nothing to do with your talent. You could be doing everything right. It happens to a lot of people that I know. You have your season, then there's like a wall that you hit, or like a dry spell, and then you're just not working. But the bills are still due, you know what I mean? And if you can be smart with your money, but then also, we're in California, we're in LA, everything is so expensive. The cost of living is expensive. Like, we have to pay for so many things, and it's so expensive. We also have state tax. In Florida, there was no state tax. Oh, okay. I was like, so that takes out a lot of money too. But what people, and I love how you brought up Instagram, use that as a reference, because no one posts when they're doing bad on Instagram. Some people do. They use social media as therapy. But you always post when you're doing really, really well. And people are like, oh my gosh, you're doing so great. I envy you. Like, but this business, I feel like, is not glamorous. You see the glamour, you see the people on red carpets, but there's so many stories. I mean, the Me Too movement is highlighting things. People abuse power in this business. Also, you give your heart and soul, like, when you have an audition, and I say, when as an actor, when you walk in the room, 98% of you actually booking the job is out of your control. You only can control 2%. That 2% is walking in, being prepared, doing the scene as best as you can, interpreting the character, and then walk out. That other 98%, she's too tall. I said open ethnicity, but I really didn't mean that. I don't want to get sued. And they really want to go with an Indian girl. But just in case the producers change their mind and they want a black girl, I already saw black girls during that session, and I don't have to waste my time as a casting director. This is what happens a lot.
Yeah,
You'll walk into that room thinking you actually have a fair chance. There's other actresses in that waiting room, and you're like, I have a fair chance of booking this role. SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, says that they have to hold auditions. They have to read a certain amount of people for a part. A lot of times it's offered to a celebrity or a name. We don't know that, so we put our heart and soul to it the night before. We had to go to work that night. We have to work in the afternoon. We have to bother a friend or someone to run lines or go to a coach and prepare for this. And there's really no chance at all that you are actually going to book it. And it happens more times than you think, but there's those people who break down that wall, break down that barrier, or get in, through that little hole, or just God just blessed them, and this opportunity came at the right time, and they were prepared. And there's a lot of success stories, but there's a lot of the business that people don't know about. I thought, before I moved to LA, that actors were given a fair chance. You get an audition, and that's how you book the job. That's not really how it is, and it's getting harder because there's not that many movies that are being made anymore. So a lot of movie stars are doing TV. Or maybe actors and actresses are doing things to try to get ahead of you, and you have morals and you're not going to do that, and that could be why you're not working as much. There's not really a formula, there's not really rules to follow to make you work more than anybody else. It's literally a game that is played, and either you know how to play the game well, or if you don't know how to play the game well, you get an opportunity when you do get one. But I will say this, it's called show business, not show talent. So take that as you will, but it's called show. It's a business. It's not about your talent. It's a business. You could be the worst actress in the world. If you know the right people, if you know how to market yourself, you could be working all the time.
It's kind of rare for people to be lucky and get through right away and be able to work full time as an actress. And just know that that's a rare case for the most part, and I would plan on not being that rare case, so you just are prepared, and then just have something going for yourself, and have some income coming in, because a lot of times too, people move out here and think that they're going to be the lucky person, and they have to go back home, and it's like they got to start back over, or they never really come back. But Jess is very successful. She still is to me, but she still has that backup job, to make sure. Also, if you're auditioning and you don't have money and you're auditioning to pay your rent and stuff, then you're probably not going to audition as well, because
you're mentally you're stressed out, and
you're desperate, and then it's not going to really and for some reason we don't like desperation, and we don't like people that are overly eager. I don't know why humans are like that. I know. And people are like, oh, they want it too bad, and then they kind of you almost have to not care and just do your own thing, and people are more attracted to that, just how people are. So I appreciate you for being honest about that part.
Yeah. You know how you always see those articles or those posts about celebrities being in debt and owing all these people money, and you're like, how is that possible when they make millions and millions or thousands and thousands of dollars? What you don't know is